Hello, and welcome back to another port video. This is my take on Familiars. I'm not very good at playing Familiars, but this is probably a deck I've got the most full ones with without ever getting a 5-0. Some of that's going to be how I built it, some of it is just varying down. So my take on this deck, I was playing this a load when leagues were basically 90% either spy or burn, and just farming. I made, as much as you can without getting 5-0s. I've got quite a lot of chests from that I used to build some. So my take on it is just really crush the matchups that you should be good against. So we've got a whole bunch of prismatic strands in the main deck. I really like having 3 because the first one buys you 2 turns, which buys you enough time to find the second one, and by the time you found the third, you're kind of doing your thing. You can often loop it with like or ephemerate, or even just snaps, ghostly flicker, whatever you want. I find this is actually a card that gets a lot better in multiples. It's not actually a fog, like the red rally decks, for example, now make white creatures, which is just not on in a red deck. It doesn't help at all against Writhing Chrysalis, for example. But it just does do quite a lot of things, and in the matchups where it's really good, and so is the second one. To make room for this, we've cut a bunch of the kind of a couple of the card draw spells. We're not playing too many cantrips. We're not playing Meeting of the Minds. We're only playing 2 counter spells. Playing Modern Age to support this. So as I say, we've cut a bunch of the counter spells compared to what some of the lists are playing, to try and strengthen then our blue matchups. So Terra's kind of infamously not a great matchup for this deck, and High Tide, for example, with only 2 counterspells main, that's just not a good place to be. So we're trying a red splash off of 1 volatile forward, can fetch with our 4 Lorien builds, and then we've got 3 perilous landscapes, which can fetch our sideboard mountain, and then we've got 4 red blasts to bring in. My gut is that this is actually not a very good sideboard plan, although we get red blasts, which, obviously very good against blue decks. The blue decks will run their own blue blasts, so whilst it might help you a lot to win like game 2, for example, if you lost game 1, they're going to bring in their blue blast and they've got an answer to your sideboard card. The levels don't actually really work in our favour, but it's something I want to give a go. There is always a problem for I'm not very comfortable with blue blasts where or the blasts in whatever matchups where you're mostly using to counter the opponent's blasts. Against playing blue blast against Jun, for example, you need some because they have red blast, they're really good, but they don't really counter anything else that matters too much in the matchup. Issue. I'm really high on Raven Charm, having spot removal spells that can kind of keep clear off the board a bit means it's a lot quicker to win with Murmuring Mystic. You don't have to make quite as many birds, you can just kill them over a few turns. I think that's very important on Magic Online, especially if you don't have Murmuring Mystic like Exiled. You need to kill them with Moldrifter. You don't want to be snapping them every turn, you usually be getting guys dead. I think the first Raven Charm is good enough against a wide enough range of things that it's worth then having. Obviously, like I said, I played this a bunch when there was a lot of spy around, where 4th Raven Charms was hilarious. But again, the Destroy Enchantment mode, like against Nyxborn Hydra, so on, does still do quite a lot of work. And I've got 1 Destroy Evil. I found that Raven Charms, like the matchups where you want to kill creatures with this, they don't tend to be very good at killing your creatures, and so I didn't necessarily need it to be Destroy Evil, but there's there are some matchups like the red-green monsters where they can make a creature quicker than you could your own army to power up your Raven Charm. So this is the deck. We will jump into a league and see how it goes. Right, so going into round 1, it's been a while since I've played this deck, but we're going to keep this. We've got some lands, we've got our Pharaohs, Faithful, and some interaction.
Obviously, there's decks we'd rather face with this hand, and decks we'd rather not. And I'm going to say this is probably this is on the rather not side, where I'm kind of thinking. So if it's, I'm assuming this is like a black-white Gates, Hawk, Tithing Blade thing. We're going to make sure we play quickly. That's going to be a big part of our hopefully winning this match. So we're going to probably get an island. Probably get a plains. This does mean that we might be hanging out our Godfar's Faithful to get killed. We'll draw another one which makes that easier. And then we want to deploy our Chancery. Works well with the snap. And the extra lands work well with the Modern Age. And then basically if we didn't play out the Godfar's Faithful, we'd be discarding hand size, so muchness. Expecting this as a blade. Just a clue crack is really good for us. It kind of reads like somebody trying to find their third land. Just more inspectors. You know, Gates is probably not going to be quick. Gates probably not going to be quick enough to kill us, put us under any real pressure. And what do we want to do? I think we Godfar's Faithful. We want to save the ephemerate Mordrift for next turn. So let's Godfar's Faithful. Let's play a Modern Age and see what we can see. This is just being mana efficient. Let's not overthink stuff. We'll always use this trigger. And what a card to discard. We could have snapped a guy for a mana and done the ephemerate Mordrift to return early, but I don't know. Snapping a Raven Inspector is not a great look. Snapping out on Godfar's Faithful, and now we're talking. So yeah, hard gates, we don't have to be worried about snuff out. As I say, I think they're just going to be too slow to really, or at least that's the impression I've got at the minute. They're just going to be a bit too slow to really pressure us. And you know, with the strands, when we've got all of these 4 effects, you know, even if they've got a what's it called, Guardian of the Guild Pact, we can fob that for a long time. So any attacks we block. Now leaving up a whole bunch of mana, we draw another prismatic strands. I don't want to make our graveyard too tempting to exile, but I also don't want to take too long on a decision. I'm kind of tempted to discard a land. The strands, like if we can't get the game over quickly, they could well have a Faithful. We don't want to be out of strands that we can ephemerate our Chaomancer turn. So let's discard an island. Let's play an island. So I'm kind of tempted to just Archaeomancer, get some value, pick up our strands again. So we'll ways away from doing anything. I don't really want to snap their guy. I don't want to afford Mordrift to ephemerate into all this open mana they've left up. And I can just cast it next turn. I could just snap a guy. I could just Mordrift to an ephemerate. Let's just Mordrift to an ephemerate anyway. We've got the Archaeomancer to pick up the ephemerates. We're not really, you know, we're getting 2 for 1, but we're not getting 2 for 1. Yeah, this is a better play. It's a shame that it took so long to come to that choice. This should have been obvious, really. Let's ephemerate. Shock and Horror. I have a cast down. That's fine. Yeah, I think my first thought was like, let's not just run a guy into like the obvious removal spell, but I think just getting out a cast down of the hand and still drawing 2 is plenty good enough. And now what? Kind of tempted to just deep analysis myself and make the land. We're not under any pressure. We've just got all the time in the world, haven't we? Just, you know, keep advancing our hand and board, and we'll find a way to get them dead eventually. We'll lock the game up before that point. So again, just try and play quickly. Lob a cast down on that. So my impression is this is a very good matchup. But this is going to be a very good matchup. Okay, and they're even on blue. Didn't know about that. But the impression is it's going to be a very good matchup, and their hand is not the hand that's going to win it. The way that we could lose from here is that they assemble some what's it called? Guard of the Guild Pact Gates loop, but I think they've been a bit slow on that. And then we've got we've got 3 turns of fogs, if not more, with the Archaeomancer. So I don't think you play ball if you what are we doing with that? Are we just setting up a ghostly flicker? So we can play our Archaeomancer, but then we don't get to hold up snap and ephemerate, so we only hold up 1 layer of protection. I'm going to go for that still. Could be a Thraben Charm. They exile our graveyard. We can counter that, or we can let it resolve, then snap a guy for a bunch of mana. So let's snap our Godfather's Faithful. Give ourselves a target. And then what we can just replay the Faithful, or we can play the Modern Age and discard probably either the Faithful or just the Plains. Let's get 2 of these rolling. So again, really valuing having this strands in hand. Once in the graveyard, it's easy for them to exile with something or other. We can't, if we flash it back, we need to find the 3rd copy somewhere in our deck before we can loop loop it with Archaeomancer. So this is going to be Grim Bauble kill our guy, which isn't great, but I'm not completely shaking in my boots about it. Again, we've got 2 more of this effect. We've got the Mortuary Mires. We're seeing a lot of cards. We block here, take a bit less damage. Down to 31. And let's discard the Lorien and the Snap. Lorien and the Ghostly Flicker. We can find a way to pick ourselves up to the Ghostly Flicker at some point. I'm going to play a Familiar. I should have played that off the other white as well. That's a shame. Guess we're just holding up Snap or Prohibit. If I'd have played it off the other white, I would have Mole Drifted and then snapped the Mole Drifter. Just draw 2. We are back into spending a whole lot of time not closing out the game as well as I would have hoped. They can have a Warble. Again, their creatures don't really matter. Just don't think they're putting up meaningful pressure. Especially in the face of what's going to be 2 more Modern Ages. Love just tap 2 of their mana. Again, don't think the damage is there on their end. And I guess we'll just block up. I know we can't block with that, can we? Nearly got ourselves. They have 2 baubles. We can just snap our guy when they're tapped out, or counter the second one. Again, just too many options. Okay, so we flip both of these, and I think I'm just going to island cycle now. Again, we could draw 3, but I don't think we need to. I think we just want to make our land drops. So this is 2 mana of a Mole Drifter. Draw 2. 2 mana Snap Mole Drifter. We need to auto with this. They cast down our Murmuring Mystic. I am just going to counter this. Take the opportunity to alternate, in this group. I mean, seeing as we had like another draw too coming from the snap, that's fair. And sideboarding, I think I want another Murmuring Mystic for sure. Don't think. I mean, we saw they had some blue lands. I assume they're on cryogens. I don't know if I'm worried about cryogens. Then we could have like some Faven Charms to kill their guys, but that doesn't sound great to me. I just want another Murmuring Mystic and cut like, I don't know, one of the Godfire Faithfuls. If they're not putting us under meaningful pressure, then like the Godfire's Faith, or if they're not putting us under immense pressure, a couple of Faithfuls just gain us so much life. Like that game, we were like 30, we're never going to die. Alternative is cut a snap, but just the mana ramp's pretty good. Modern Age makes a lot work. Like one of the Thraben Charms. I do like having one removal spell, it just means we can actually, once we make a load of birds or get something going, we don't have to make quite as many. We can just make, 8 and then kill their flyer and just quicker to win on the clock. And it's, in paper you can just infinite snap, infinite counterspell, but can't really do that in Magic Online. I don't think it really matters. I'll cut a Faithful, that's fine. Just don't think opponent's going to be quite quick enough. Gonna have to keep an eye out for some possible, the Black Ninja and Duresses and so on, but maybe a couple of negates hiding out in there. Nothing that fills me with dread. I'm going to keep, hand is nothing special, but we can get a white source, we can cast our spells. I don't want to mulligan to the Abyss against this deck. There's kind of a good matchup already. We've got like a Divination on 3. Looks like opponent's mulliganed anyway. They mulligan in game 1? No, they kept 7 in game 1. It just felt like they did. And yeah, again, I think it's one of the nice things about playing this deck is your good matchups just feel incredibly easy. They're on blue straight away. That seems noteworthy. I'm assuming it's because they probably run more planes than their other basic plans, but we have noted it. We're going to go to our end step, get our planes. So we've got the blue sources ready. We need to play the familiar. We might as well get the familiar down. Interesting this was on blue. And not like wouldn't be this on white. And then interesting for we saw Hawks, we saw what do you call it? Okay, so we've got the same hand where we need to play familiar, even though it might well die, just because we need to we want to play a chancery anyway, so we could discard the prismatic strands for it, but come on. And then what else was I saying? Something about this, this deck, the good matchups just feel so free. It's a nice place to be. And so, what do we want to do here? They're holding up Clue or Cast Down. We can't Sunscape and leave up. I know we can play the island. So we'll Sunscape and leave up Snap. I'm assuming they'll either, if they have a Cast Down, they'll try and cast down our guy. We'll just Snap to say that we don't get to spend that mana that turn, but it clears out. If they don't have a Cast Down, they just crack the Clue and we go to our turn. Kind of supercharges the Mulgrifter. We'll remember to block with the Faithful, preferably so that we don't get killed by a Bauble. Oh yeah, so that's what I was going to say. It's interesting, we saw the Bauble, but we didn't see a Tithing Blade. Kind of makes sense in the Tithing Blade's quite slow, but what's it called? The Terror deck is like so popular, and Blade is really good against them, so I would have thought that you would have a couple of Blades. again, even like the first Godfarer's Faithful is going to gain us so much life over the course of the game. While they pick up a land. Not this. That's pretty wild. 2 snaps is pretty funny. So we can evoke a Muldrifter. We could just play a Muldrifter. Tempting to evoke it because we can snap a guy and just, they cast down, we snap again. Just clear out, expel from their hand. They've already moved to 4, we're about to resolve a draw 2. They're picking up their own land with Skyfishers, so they're going to be caught up on mana. I think if they hadn't mulliganed, I'd probably be just hardcasting this. So let's put a snap on the stack. I'm not expecting the snap's going to resolve. Cast down this guy. So that's really funny. Do we just get it all? Snap this guy. Untap 2 lands. Tap the land again. Snap this guy. Untap 2 lands. Play the familiar. Yeah, this is pretty sick. Evoke the Muldrifter again. This time we'll ephemerate it. So have infinite cards. Oh no, we have to discard to hand size. What a sad place to be. I think I'll just discard the strands, the deep analysis over the strands. Yeah. Let's say the good matchups just feel so good. And there's not been a lot of decision making, and I don't think we've necessarily made good decisions where we have. You see, they've got a way of killing this. Turn off our draw 2. Like, this hand doesn't currently managed to pick up our ephemerate. If they've not got a way of killing our draw 2, I think they probably should have ephemerated. Sorry, Fabled Enchantment Muldrifter. I guess we'll just play the Modern Age. We've got so many lands. It's got so many cards. Let's auto use this. It's nice. And I will discard one of our many lands. Just play another one. I guess we're never using that extra mana, so we could have just discarded. We could have just played the tap land, but it's another landscape. We don't need that. The bar to prohibit something is very, very low. They don't gate. So presumably they're using their mana. Skyfisher there just being like, pick up a land, I guess reset the Fabled Spectre now. Familiars is very fun to play. As I say, I don't think I could take any credit or say that we played particularly well, but and what we can we can tap out for our Chaomancer. Or basically tap out. I guess we play a Plains, we're holding up ephemerate. So I've got a counterspell of some description. Fabled Enchantment exile our graveyard again. Okay, I get in there. We'll attack for 2, give them the business. Have another gate. Guy gets bigger, but this is 6 a turn. We've got the Mystic coming down. I guess it's 7 because they can pump the Spectre. I was about to say, Preordain's probably our best draw. It's just a cheap cantrip following the Mystic. And we've got a Plains in hand, so we'll tap like this. Also gives us a Chaomancer target. Yes, the snap's pretty good. So we could snap this to draw cards, but having it as protection for our Mystics just. Yeah, so I don't think we really have much play there. On to the next. We are back for round 2. We're going to keep. We've got some lands. We can discard our strands, try a Modern Age. And it looks like we are back into Synthesizer land, which we're not too unhappy about. Let's hit them with a good luck, have fun. Got another land over there, right? So Boros flavor Synth this time. And we have 3 of a kind. We'll start with the strands, just get some value. It means that we can play like a, what do you call it, familiar, and protect itself, which is pretty big. They scroll land to the bottom, they miss their land drop. We draw the familiar. I'm kind of tempted to discard a snap. I've got 2. 2's a lot of snaps. And yeah, let's just familiar. Again, we don't need to hold up snap because we've got the strands. So we can play another Modern Age and then just discard the tap land. We don't need that. So they've got 2 lands now, so they can make sure they kill this. We will still draw out the 2 for 1. Bit of a shame that they drew the land. That's what they did. We can fog on white, prevent some damage. But we've still got the 2 for 1 off the Modern Age triggers. They inspect. MTGO doesn't do a very good job of showing what colours we chose for that, so that might have been why they paused. I might discard the 3rd Modern Age. Modern Age is pretty good in this matchup. Maybe it's just the preordain. I want to keep all my lands. I want to keep making land drops. So we can familiar snap their guy and Mold Drifter. Just buy ourselves infinite time. They've used up 2 bolts already, so it's reasonable to think they might be running low. Can we Mold Drifter here? No, we can't, right? This is only +2 mana. Oh, well, that makes that choice easier. I guess we're discarding a Mold Drifter. Well, it's been a while since I played this deck. So yeah, we'll try and save our guy if we can. I would Thraben Charm this. I mean, I'd cast a Thraben Charm. They can destroy an artifact. Destroy an enchantment, sorry, but you're kind of getting the value off of these already. So we snap our guy. We're just in never getting a cheap Mold Drifter. Hell. I say hell, it's not like that. And got Throws Faithful or more land drops. Kind of want more land drops. Do I want to replay the familiar into potential removal spell? I think so. I think it's fine. We're hard casting Mold Drifter anyway, which is our kind of way to pull ahead. Again, they've used 2 bolts and Thraben Charm. They're going to have like 8 removal spells plus the charms plus any. 4 blasts, 4 bolts, charms, and then any Journey to Nowheres. So yeah, it's not the end. It's not unreasonably lucky that they can just keep killing our guy. But the point is that we're playing card draw spells as well. And then at some point, one of these will kind of put us over the top. Do you want to attack for 4? So we can basically attack for 2 or trade a Vector Glider for a Glint Hawk. I don't want to trade a Vector Glider for a Glint Hawk. Let's just not ever take any damage in the air. Opponent gets to do a thing. So I think they're quite pleased to hit a land there. They've still got 4 cards in hand. They've got 2 clues. They're not low on action, but they are gated on the amount of mana they've got available. We are just playing out our cards, getting some life, discard of strands, hold it there, but kind of spinning our wheels, but it's not the end of the world. I still think we're probably could have prohibited this. We're just not likely to have the mana, available at a key turn later on. If we don't untap land, keeping our Mystic in play is better. But our Vector Gliders are pretty disposable. No, I think I like keeping their prohibit to try and save up this stick. What do we do to away? I think it's probably that island and just draw 2 again. this is the type of spot where a what's it called? Azorius Chancery is very tempting. Nope. With Thraben Charm, we can kill their Skyfisher and start getting in for ourselves in a bit. Well, not anymore. Keep the land drops. I wouldn't say it's getting away from us, but we're not as far ahead as I think we had been. The key thing is they're keeping the flow of stuff going. They built out their board. We're still a healthy life total, but they've got 3 cards in hand to interact with us. The Mystic's precious enough. I don't really want to run it out there, but also not got any protection. So it looks like we're just going to keep on playing draw 2s and just hoping to find land drops, really. Making back a clue, that's fine. We find 2 land drops there. Love 2 land drops for us. I'm just going to suck them. I don't know. They might not blast something. No, who am I kidding? Let's just get. Yeah, like the danger zone is less bad than because we've got the strand in the graveyard, but we don't have so many cards in hand. Oh god, we don't have a strand in the graveyard. We don't want to have so many cards in hand that we can't actually play and protect our Archaeomancer ephemerate type loops when we come to that. So the strands being gone also means that Thraben Charm's back on the menu to kill our mystics. What are you on Electrickeries? I believe this, like, Electrickery, or like something like that, is what would make sense here. But I think I'm good with just clearing out board. Okay, run it fast. Okay. So where I was saying about I was worried about them building up like a just critical massive interaction in their hand. So to stop us from being able to deploy out our Archaeomancer ephemerate, that's not as big a worry. Which is partly why I was saying I was quite surprised by that line. But I guess they need to get us down eventually. Let's top, bottom. We won't play out we'll hold up the pivot. We're basically just countering cast into the Journey to Nowheres. Everything else is kind of fine. Well, the second bolt we counter, but everything else is kind of fine. To be honest, we've got the Thraben Charm for Journey to Nowhere as well. They can just keep going through their deck. It's not bad for them. They are doing the thing. Stop popping up with what they can play. Greatsword's a good draw. It's not what I would have thought of a Greatsword matchup, but hey, it's a really good sword. And I think I can just afford to kill this. They've played a land. I'll just nuke this now. Make another bird. It stops them. We should have done this in the beginning of combat, so now they just get to suit up this instead. Oh. It becomes a 3/4. I mean, that's pretty good, but it becomes a 3/4. They tap a Vector Glider. We can still just put the rest of the army in front of it. Still a misplay. Is it? Actually, no, maybe this is just better. Like, just get everything out. Just actually, maybe I would have I wouldn't put it past that I actually do want to get rid of their army, or their Skyfishers. So we can Mortuary Mire, put the Muldrath back on top. Don't think we necessarily want to. And then draw up the Preordain. I don't think we want to. I really want to keep one of these. There's just so many land drops. Don't need it, but again, we've got the Mortuary Mire for next turn. We've got the Deep Analysis. We've got plenty of mana coming our way. So let's pick up the island. Deep Analysis ourselves. Miss an attack for 2. But yeah, the other thing about same with Raven Charm would be for a yeah, we're just gonna let this go. Same with Raven Charm would be about a Journey to Nowhere. But we can always now, so I'm gonna let this happen and then try an Archaeomancer our Raven Charm to kill it. And then we're saving the Prohibit for a Raven Charm on our graveyard. And we can attack with a 3/3 flyer. We can put the whole gang in front of this. We block with everybody. We don't, or it's hard for us to get bolted out of town. Cast into the fire, cast us out of town, but again, let's just keep them off of flyers and run with our Mermaid Mystic advantage. We don't have that many counterspells in this version of the deck, so we can't afford to just keep. We've got to be a bit targeted on what we do counter. So, Archaeomancer, get Raven Charm, cast Raven Charm, Exciting Journey to Nowhere, and then I think this time I will get back and forth. I guess we attack for 1. Let's just start ending the game. They're at 23. They've got a whole bunch of numbers, so it's going to take a while. It does make us bleed some damage. Like they see up a guy, tap our Mystic. They can, they're probably going to try and kill our Mystic. Yeah. We've got 2 Ephemerates to draw to. Do we want to counter this? I think we can beat this. I think we've got so many Ephemerates. We're drawing a Muldrafter. We can put the Raven Charm back in our deck, or back into our hand. The life game continues. They kill our enchantment, presumably. They exile our Raven Charm. They destroy our enchantment. It would have been annoying if they really, I say annoying, it would have been really annoying if they killed it. So we've got 1 strands, we've got both ephemerates, we've got 2 snaps. So this is the downside, like we're taking a decent chunk now. Was it 3 damage this turn? Increasing quite rapidly. But an ephemerate kind of makes everything fun. It's not an ephemerate. We can play a familiar. We can chancery pick up the Watery Mire. Again, not necessarily expecting the. We can. Sorry, because we've got the familiar, we can deep analysis, which we will because of fears of the Raven Charm still. Not expecting our familiar is going to last very long. They find another land. Their board continues to get wide. Part of me's not sure what we're holding the pivot for now, but I guess it's to protect we've got those strands. It's protecting like our ephemerate, get back the Raven Charm. The flicker's still in our deck. Let's go block here and kill one of these and block here. And we can block slightly better here, can't we? Take 2, kill a trade a bird token for a guy. So let's play the other familiar. I guess we don't need to yet. We're starting on a strand. We're starting on a. I know we can Watery Mire top the drift. That makes it more tempting to have a familiar. You may Lemless. I'm just going to auto yield all of this nonsense. We're not up on time. It's so sad. Bottom this, top this. Play this. Just cast a drifter. I guess I can answer back the Raven Charm. It's one of these games where actually the amount of clicking I'm going to have to do to make a big wide board and actually kill them quickly is pretty prohibitive. We've not got that many cards in our deck. That's kind of caught up to us pretty quick. So it looks like I'm taking 4, sorry, and I can just put guys in front of the 2 knights. Those 2. No effects. They bog us, so I'm glad that we picked up the Thraben Charm. We don't need the other stuff in order to actually win. We'll kill another Journey to Nowhere. We'll draw another 3. And then let's discard the landscape. Now we've got we've got the Infinite Bird loop. Just gonna block up again, take some. I'll put a guy in front of the Thraben Inspector. I don't want to take a minion for no reason. Now we've got a lot of birds now, so we don't need it. So blue, Ghostly Flicker, this in an island. So the combo is we can do this infinite times. The anti-combo is it takes quite a few clicks to make each guy. So we only really want to do this enough so that we can actually make like a decent number of dudes and kill them in the air. We're not going to try and... I guess we're saying that we probably didn't want to just chop block a guy away. This is 7 damage a turn. We kind of want to get to the point where it's like they can't really stop us, and then we're just going to attack like a few times rather than making all 30 creatures in one go. So we do have another game to win. So it's a real shame that we're kind of this low down on the clock. Against opponents that make you play it out, you don't want to be down the clock after game 1. So that'll be enough birds. I don't know how many birds that is, but it's enough. Playing on for turn. 11 is this? I guess it might be time to snap this Thraben Inspector after it attacks. I'm kind of happy auto-yielding again because I just don't think that they're gonna... they're a relatively fair deck. They might have like an Electrickery or something. I think it's very unlikely. I guess people are it's worse to auto. But the point being that they're going to struggle to deal with so many flyers. And I think that they agree, which is why they're just making us play it out. Fortunate they're on 12 life, so we don't have to make any more guys, even if they crack the Lembus. Let's be honest, if they want to crack a Lembus, that's fine. It takes them more time to do it than it takes us to just attack again. Whilst obviously we're on the clock, so we're not in danger of getting out. More Lembuses. It's starting to get a bit annoying. They're Lembuses for days, and they just escape. Okay. They're not. Oh, they tapped too many lands. So they could only Lembus once, that's fine. So, sideboard wise, I want my Mystic, I want my Thraben Charms, and I want some number of my Blue Blasts. It's probably quite a high number. I don't know how high. I don't want any of these. And I don't really want probably my Snaps. I might keep all my Godfrey's Faithfuls in it, and maybe my Deep Analysis. I quite like my Thraben Charms, especially if we can just kill their core Skyfish and then just keep battling with everybody else on the ground. It just helps get games over with quicker, and obviously it helps get Journey to Nowhere. Kind of like this 5 for this 5. It feels weird not to have all of these in. I'm not really sure where I'd cut. It's like maybe a Godfarer's Faithful, but I do quite like the Faithfuls. 3's a lot. I've got 4 blasts. Maybe I'll just have another Thraben Charm. Maybe the first Snap. Snap just does a lot. Right, so action is back on us. I'm going to keep. Hand's not great, but we've got our second land on the Sunscape, and I don't want to mulligan into the Abyss. Let's just get this now. Who are we killing? And I'll even go ahead and get an island over a blue-white duel. We've got our first white source, that's all that really matters. So they're not on an aggressive start. I will play the volatile forward over the island. I don't really want to run out to familiar to get it bolted, and then we'll kind of just start divinationing and see where we go from there. They would have put a red land. Obviously, it could be a bolt, so it could be a red blast and stop our divination. I think that's fine. We'd have to discard a card to hand size anyway. So they have what have we done? Played Lembus, replayed the Lembus, played the Inspector, that's fine. What are we up to? I think now feels like it might be the time to run out our Sunscape. We're holding up Red Blast, Blue Blast, and we've got the Strands. And then we can play the Chancery, pick up the island. So we'll try and Strands first, but I think I would blast to keep this. That's a shame. It's not the end of the world, but it's a shame. Okay, we've got 2 Thraben Charms now, so we've got ways to... We've got a few shots to draw the way to kill this. I'm taking a reasonable pressure. It's enough where I don't think we can quite afford to just slam the Drifter. So we can, like 5 mana Drifter. So we can 3 mana Drifter and then try and ephemerate, which lets us see a whole bunch of cards. Or the alternative is Mystic, but I'd rather get a white creature in play before I Mystic, so we can Strands. So we'll just Blue Blast this, get out of the draw 2. So having a throwaway Mystic is pretty nice as well. Let's discard the Landscape. Oh no, maybe the Prohibit. Yeah, I'm just going to discard the Prohibit again. I'm just going to try and play quickly. The Prohibit stops... What's this going to be? Kill our Strands. The Prohibit stops like a Journey to Nowhere or Thraben Charm on the Mystic that the Hydroblast doesn't. If it's not specifically that, I'd rather have the mana efficiency. They bottom. Bolt a guy. We're taking 5, but they're down to 1 card. It's a shame that we lose the ephemerate. That's a nice draw for us. My virus protection has ended, which is taking quite a lot of time to click and get rid of. So we can Sunscape, just play the land, play the Mystic, and we've only got the 1 Blue Blast to protect. It isn't ideal, but I think it might be okay. So we're set to take 4 damage from it. Oh, they're giving us back the familiar. That's that's almost quite funny, because we have the other Mystic in hand. Yeah, out of cards apart from that clue token. We block up. We're going down to 6, so fine. We'll un-auto yield in case we get one of these bolted when we don't need it to. Fine. So we are I think we Mystic. So let's Mystic using the Landscape. Drifter. Oh, we just drew the Arcane Man, so I didn't even see. So draw 2. And let's Ghostly Flicker this and Island. So I think we probably could have just made Infinite Birds, but we've kind of missed our shot at that. Play the Godfather's Faithful, and we can... Oh no, we do just make Infinite... Oh no, we haven't got enough blue sources. Oh no. So we can Modern Age, discard the Strands so that we've got a bit of safety, and then hold up our Blue Blast. So Thraben Charm's really annoying. I guess in 2 ways. Other than Thraben Charm, I think pretty good. But yeah, annoying. We didn't actually need to play the Mole Drifter, and if we hadn't, we'd had an extra blue pip and we'd just made Infinite Birds. It's annoying, we no longer have Infinite Birds, but we do have lot of blue pips for a lot of looks for a Thraben Charm. So we're going to keep our Muldrifter around, although it's hard to. But the point being that we want to Archaeomancer and start ghostly flickering our Muldrifter. We probably should have just Thraben Charm that on white. Sorry, prismatic strands that on white. So let's discard this. Play Archaeomancer. Get back ghostly flicker. And then let's ephemerate the Drifter. Just start drawing a couple of cards. I don't really want to play either of those on the land yet. We've got infinite life via ghostly flickering, island, Archaeomancer. It's a bit of a pain, but I'm just going to get myself up out of blast range. So it takes them 2 spells to kill us at least. And then I think we're going to end up passing the turn back just to make our lives easier. So let's play this for the turn. Let's keep up blue mana, keep up, because we don't need the white mana. But we want to keep up 2 blue pips. So we will be strandsing on white, I think, just to keep us alive. They scry to the top. They bog us. I did kind of want to pick up that prohibit. I think we're going to let it go. Fetch for another blue source, because our blue sources are all draw 2s. And we have the ephemerate. Auto-yield all their stupid Lembuses. Ephemerate our Muldrifter. That's a draw 2. Play Godfar's Faithful. That's not a draw 2. Ghostly Flicker. Again, we're just looking for a Thraben Charm, which we have 2 of in the deck. I forgot to pick it up. I was supposed to be Archaeomancer and Ghostly Flicker. So Archaeomancer. So Archaeomancer and Muldrift, then we're paying a blue mana to draw 2. Let's pick up the Ephemerate. Just get it. Just have another kind of layer of protection. Guess if we preordain, that sees more cards. Godfrey's Faithful was just, we'll just gain a bunch of life this turn. And if we're gaining 3 life a turn, I'll just click this a few more times so that we don't have to worry about taking a bunch of damage from their white creatures anymore. We've got 5 minutes, which should be enough time. Up to 25 life. And I guess we will actually draw 2 one more time. Cool. And let's pass back. We'll discard a bunch of Lorien Revealeds. So yeah, we just need to find ourselves a Thraben Charm. So flicker these 2, draw 2. Flicker these 2, draw 2. I mean, it's possible that we just steal time out, or they're all annoyingly on the bottom of our deck and we get ourselves into trouble that way. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're in here. There's none there. They're just both in the bottom 10. Wow, okay. Play this. The kind of important thing on this turn is that we're going to put some creatures in the graveyard so that we can Paducah Bog, sorry, not Paducah Bog, but a similar card name, put them back. I want to keep the prohibit. That's fine. Did want to keep the prohibit though, but we've got Ghostly Flicker to redraw if we feel like we need to. We can put the prohibit back in our hand. Probably want to keep Preordain as well, just as a way to. Okay, we'll see what we target. Gonna try and Ghostly Flicker. I think the bolt is okay. I'm going to pick up that prohibit just so we've got a bit of safety. We've still got the ephemerate as a bit of protection. My kingdom for a Thraben Charm. So there's definitely 2 in the deck. This is getting a bit annoying. There we go. What's on the top? Destroy this enchantment. Wait till you're here. Let's Archaeomancer, pick up the Ghostly Flicker. And we can yield. And then I'll probably just start Thraben Charming down their flying creatures in their end step. Okay, don't think we're... we can save the Thraben Charm if we want to. Kind of got the spells we want in our hand, so we will save the Thraben Charm. Ghostly Flicker these 2. I need to resend the Wrapup to this. Pick up Ghostly Flicker. Pick up Thraben Charm. Let's kill a Skyfisher. Ghostly Flicker these 2. Well, ideally wouldn't be having to click all of those. Ghostly Flicker, Thraben Charm. It's annoying that the opponent knows that I'm having to click more so they can put some more stuff in the stack in this end step. Thraben Charm. Kill this guy. So Ghostly Flicker these 2. Get back Ghostly Flicker. Get back Thraben Charm. Thraben Charm. Kill this guy. Okay. Ghostly Flicker these 2. So we're spending a lot of time on this, but this will be the last time that we spend. Get back Ghostly Flicker. Get back Thraben Charm. I'm also right cramped up on the side of a desk, which isn't helping our clicking speed. And I think I just OK through Declare Attackers, which isn't ideal. But I'll take that then to give ourselves a bit more room. And then we're just practicing our heal through this turn, attack with everybody. Okay, shame we've got 8 cards in hand, that's a click. There's an annoying trick that I've not pulled, but I've had people pull, where you make people have to declare, like, assign combat damage, and it's just an extra click, extra bit of time off the clock. Don't hate the players, hate the game. And we'll discard this to clean up. Yield through their turn. So again, this is why I just wanted to kill all of their flyers so that we could just do this. Relic's fine. And they cycle it. They get a redraw. Like goes out saying, a breath weapon's not good for us. Forgot to play a spell again, so we're going to clean up, which is annoying. But we're getting in for like 10-ish a turn. And hopefully they've not drawn a way to gain. Well, I guess a Lembus is annoyingly enough. Bolt isn't enough. Thraben Charm isn't enough. And we get there. Okay, so I play an awful lot of games that go down to the clock when I'm trying to record, and that was, I said a few times earlier, this was only 2 games. I said a few times earlier on about how it's just so important, just make decisions quickly, even if they're not quite optimum. It was a shame that we dug so much for the Thraben Charm, and then we were already in that kind of just click quickly mode rather than optimizing ways to do it. So, yeah, shame that it was so far down. I think they both were, right? There's another one in here somewhere. But yeah, the important thing is we got there. Felt like quite a comfortable win. I don't think Boros is a great matchup because they can just kill all of your familiars so easily. But I guess that's where having the strands as ways to protect them was really helpful. I don't think they killed any familiars this game. So.
Right, so we're on the play in round 3. This one, first, nearly tricked me into keeping. Always careful, always careful on those. When I'm saying tricked into keeping, do not actually click keep. We will keep this one. and I think it's slightly better. We're not doing anything with the island on our first turn, so we might as well cycle the Lorien around and put back the island, then the Lorien's in the graveyard for the benefit of Archaeomancer and the like. Obviously, the key thing here is we've got a couple of lands. We've got a familiar. Just going to get an island again. We skillfully mulliganed. Well, we're also on the play. I was going to say skillfully mulliganed so that we wouldn't get got by a. I didn't run it. Okay, I was going to say skillfully mulliganed so we didn't get got to discarding hand size. We're at some risk of getting wildfired out of town then, so there was a risk to playing this land, but I think it's worth it in the world that we don't. Probably not worth taking the risk. That was kind of autopilot. I wanted to say my gag about not having to discard hand size, and it didn't even work. I think I'm going to discard the floodplain. One white source is enough. I might end up discarding the Godfarer's Faithful next turn, but no, I'll be in the plane. One, I'll be in the most embarrassing ways I've lost to Sunscape Familiar. Obviously, still on the radar is bolts and cast downs. More infiltrators. I don't know, I'm not a big infiltrating. Do we want to discard the Faithful? Or do we? I kind of want to keep it. So we can play the Faithful, evoke the Muldrifter, snap it. This lets us see a lot of cards. It's not great against a Snuff Out, but Snuff Out killing a familiar is also not great. So this way at least it's only killing the. And then what we can play another familiar. Their board isn't one that, they're not crying out to Crackland Shaman somebody anytime soon, are they? I think we just play the familiar. I don't think we play the Modern Age. I guess if we play the Modern Age, we're very likely discarding what we draw. Actually, I think we do. I am playing it because I think the likelihood of, we've got a bunch of strands that would be good to discard. The Chancery's fine. I think that we just can't have too many more drifters in this spot. Well, we could. If we more drifted into 2 more drifters, that would be too many more. So what are we getting blown out by, like, Crackland Shaman, another artifact land, and they can wipe our board and grow their guys? That would be pretty good. That doesn't seem to be what's on the board. Obviously, we're no longer blocking, so this is where actually getting Godfarer's Faithful down is doing a bit of work. Looks like a refurb number 1. So we can't block, and we discard a drifter. I don't feel great about our position, but obviously with 2 familiars in play, things can go pretty nuts pretty quick. Raven Charm to kill these infiltrators is pretty tempting. Boy, 1 mana like Muldrifter Ephemerate is pretty great. So we'll lose the Raven Charm. We'll evoke a Muldrifter. Again, gain a life. We draw 2. We draw another 2. And now we can play our Mystic, which is obviously a pretty good cast down type thing. Target stone walls the infiltrators in a couple of turns. Do we want to island cycle the Lorien Reveal to make a land drop? I think we do. We've got the Deep Analysis as our card draw backup. Again, we just keep adding to the board. The Sunscapes have done quite a lot of work. Each one's gained us +2 mana. Again, Crackland is getting scarier. But I've got to imagine, I'm not up to date on the journalist. I've got to imagine if you're playing Gixians, you're playing less Crackland Shamans. You're just going to have to get basic planes here. Assuming this is the cast down. So the refurb has to stay home, and what we can take a maximum, these can go to a maximum of 4. So I think we're going to, I know we've got the draw 2 coming off the ephemerate, so we can't really afford to block with the drifter. So we'll just eat the up, puts it in the graveyard in the realms of the Blood Fountain, but yeah, this the extra draw 2 on the Muldrifter. I understand why they killed that. I think they probably did have to, but it's not abundantly clear that letting us get the draw 2 is better. So we can snap his +1 mana, obviously. Getting rid of one of these is pretty good. I think playing the God Pharoahs just buys us a lot of time. Snapping a Muldrift is always tempting as well. Okay, we need to play quickly. We're already behind by. So let's just play one. I'm going to Island Cycle. We're going to kind of rely on the deep analysis to draw us what we need. We can attack for 2 first. Deep analysis ourselves. Probably shouldn't have played the island yet then, because if this draws a what do you call it? Chancery, we'd rather play the Chancery. Let's untap. I'm just going to put 3 Godfarer's Fables in play. That's a bit greedy, but and then I'm also going to play the Deep Analysis from the graveyard, because if they've got a spell bomb, we don't want to lose. Mortuary Mire with the Mystic goes pretty well. Spellbomb cutting up on Mystic's not great. And again, we're kind of figuring that, they only had 2 cards in hand. They do have the Blood Fountain, but I don't think they have any Crackland Shamans, which would explain why they've not played any. We could block this with a Vector Glider to gain 6. I don't think we need to. We've just got so many Godfarer's Faithfuls in play. So we're set up to Mortuary Mire, put this on top. Well, and that strands works out well as well. Yes, put this on top. Draw a Murmuring Mystic, discard a strands. I think I'm going to tap for white mana to play the Mystic. I guess we didn't have. No, we did have to choose then. Play the Preordain. Make our first bird. Gain a bunch of life. Kind of just looking for anything we can cast. Ghostly Flicker we can cast. Let's attack in the air for 6. We have the strands in the graveyard, so we're at no risk of dying to their infiltrators. And then we're saving the Ghostly Flicker to protect us against a removal spell. Or the alternative is, Flicker a Muldrifter, draw 2. I think the strands is doing a heck of a lot of work. Stops them ever killing us with this. Also stops. I will have to look at a Decklist kind of in between these. That's annoying because they can get our Ghostly Flicker, but obviously we don't have the Archaeomancer side to buy it, buy it back. So they're using it now. Guess they just need to cycle it, but obviously we can take the opportunity to strands them on black. You can keep your guys at home. There's a very weird Magic Online world where we could think about strandsing on red, because it doesn't actually tell you what colour you've chosen. And obviously red would just cover it. I didn't need to auto off. It's a shame to turn it off because we've got so many triggers. We do want auto yielding, but again we want to save our Mystic. And I was thinking we'd do it at the end of turn, but we definitely want to do it in response to a cast down if they were to play one. They've not played one, so we will do it now. This one, and I guess we don't actually have to target this. I don't really want to reset back to Glider. Reset our auto yields. Maybe we don't even need to do this, but just 1 mana draw 2 is too hard to get away. I guess it's free, could be, but it allows us to get in for 2 more damage, I guess, is the benefit of doing it when we did. So many triggers. Let's discard the Modern Age. We don't need to be Modern Aging. Evoke a Muldrifter. I'll keep the good somehow. We'll play out our land. Mash them. What's that? That's 9 damage. And then we can play this. 3, draw 2. Funny to have the other strands. So at 17 damage. I think we just let this come in. We don't need to react. 3 Godfarer's Faithful is a lot of Godfarer's. I guess we snap this in response. just stop them getting a clue. Obviously we could have strands it, but we don't want to tap out when we're holding up prohibit. And that does it. So I think we played that really badly based on the turn 2. Just if they had a wildfire, we could have been in trouble. I'm going to take this opportunity to look up a list. I've got to think that a list with Gixians and perhaps fewer Crackland Shamans is a better matchup for us. So I've been looking at some lists, and they don't actually seem to be cutting any Crackland Shamans when they're playing Gixian, which makes sense in that you can wipe the board, grow your guys really big, and that's strong. But I guess in the world where you don't have a couple of counters on already, it could be a bit of a liability. So we just got away with one there. We're not the best setup to beat Jund type decks with our current version, but obviously we'll give it a good go. So I want another Murmur Mystic, I want my Thraben Charms, and I want some number of Blue Blasts. And I don't want as many Godfarrow's Faithfuls. I like keeping one or two in because of you can assemble an infinite life combo or something. I'll cut a snap, and strands is tempting. It's gotten better if they're not just on Chrysalis, but I don't think we need 3 of them. And maybe a Modern Age. We've cut some of these. These are just all kind of the cheap stuff that we can afford to trim. And then I don't want more Blue Blasts than they have Red Blasts, for example. The Blue Blasts are mostly catching. So let's do that. Again, not the neatest sideboard plan, but the Godfarrow's Faithful was obvious. And then just trimming one of a couple of techie things. And then I think I want the Thraben Charms. Stop them looping Blood Fountain, and we can again. Jund doesn't have that many creatures. You can just kill their creatures. So our one Godfarrow's Faithful has turned up for Duke. We appreciate. The rest is, is what it is. I think we've kept to 1 land Lorien revealed hand. To be honest, the hand's not great, right? Hydroblast probably at its best catching a Wildfire. I think taking the ephemerate away is probably right because like Muldrifter ephemerate is so backbreaking. It's like the most powerful 2-card combo this deck gets access to. The Infiltrator is, I think, fine. We're going to have enough time for that. So we're playing the Faithful. We're playing the Chancery, and we're crossing our fingers that they don't have an untapped red source. That's not an untapped red source. That's another Infiltrator, but hey, our one Godfarrow's Faithful has turned up to do some work. So we appreciate that. We appreciate the little things in life. So I think we're playing out our Modern Age. Probably discarding the Deep Analysis. Obviously it's in the deck to be discarded, get a bit of value. And then we'll play the island to hold up Hydroblast. Mostly on Cleansing Wildfire duty. There's not really many other red spells it does a great job of countering. Crackland Shaman. There's stuff. I thought I was going to be number 3. Bit of a hard choice. So Hydroblast kills Red Blast on Murmur Mystic as well. I think we can, if we discard the planes, we're just kind of signing ourselves up to not do anything, which, could be quite punishing. But I think we have to. I think I want to. Kind of the easy way out. We're going to block. Well, I guess it's free for them now. Sorry, I'm being an idiot. So let's see what we hit here, because this will be interesting. And I don't really want to discard the Mortuary Mire, so that leads us to discarding the Muldrifter. The Muldrifter is probably the thing that we only really want to play a 2-mana spell because we want to leave up a land, I think, for a potential Wildfire. Maybe we don't have to. No, I think I'm just going to try and make this game about Murmuring Mystics. So we can Deep Analysis ourselves. This effectively only costs 2 life, which is a bargain when you put it like that. Oh no! Oh no! We tapped our lands. Now if we pick up our untapped land, we can't protect ourselves against a wildfire. Oh dear, oh dear. That's so bad. That's tragic. Okay, well, if we lose to that, we lose to that. We were talking about it. We knew what we wanted to do. We just... And am I going to keep a Lauren revealed? I don't... I probably shouldn't have even preordained. I just went, oh, I've got the mana now, I'll do it. Ah, yeah. Okay. So we played this turn pretty much as horribly as I think we could. Well, not as horribly. We could have... I'm sure there was worse. We could have Hydroblast something. There's a lot of targets for Hydroblast on this board. None of them do anything. I think I'm going to get another white source here. I think how we get back into it is that we play 2 Sunscapes. Well, we weren't beating 2 of them. It would have been nice to not have to beat 2 of them, to only have to try and... So this transforms, currently holds the fort. And we definitely play the Sunscape. Do we play the Mortuary Mire? And just... That sounds fine. Not worried about red blasting it or blue blasting anything this turn. I feel like it was quite telegraphed that they had the wildfires. I wasn't doubting that they had one, is the right saying. It's just, yeah, wasn't our best play. So the Chrysalis pumps the Infiltrators by a lot, which is still not good. What, 4 power? So we can Familiar, say Archaeomancer, or Familiar Murmuring. Luckily we get to block the Reverb, just taking 8. So getting back the Ephemerate's tempting. I guess we can Archaeomancer, hold up Ephemerate. That lets us block one of them, and then Ephemerate Archaeomancer, get back preordain. We've got ourselves in a pickle. I don't want to spend too long losing this game. Obviously there's a lot of things that loses to. The alternative is Sunscape, Murmuring Mystic. We have to block 2 creatures at least, which would be like Vector Glider. I don't really want to throw away the God for his faith in that world. We'll play the Archaeomancer, we'll get back the Ephemerate, and open ourselves up to be in trouble, and, you know, at least make them have something else. Not that I think they're unlikely to have. Then in this world, we're still throwing away, I guess throwing away the Vector Glider if they've got a way to, like, you know, another Chrysalis, for example. We're now throwing away probably the... So we'll block here, we'll block here, we'll block here. We'll go for the Ephemerate to save our guy. This is unsurprisingly cast down. We get down to 3. Yeah, we lost this on turn 4. If we evoke the Muldrifter, draw one of our 3 snaps, maybe there's some... Maybe that does something. Don't know what the something will be, but maybe it does. So I think we let the Muldrifter go. Play the Chancery. We snap an Infiltrator. Untap 2 lands. Play a Murmuring Mystic for 2 mana. And then obviously we've got a Hydroblast that we want to cast to make a bird. I mean, we're back to being not instantly dead. Alternatively, we're back to taking a long time to die, which is obviously one of the things we were trying to avoid. So I think we just spam, like, this is the reason to have Hydroblast over Blue Blast. So I think we're doing this before blocks. I want to keep... Oh no, we could block the... So we can block the Chrysalis with the Murmuring Mystic. And we're kind of fine. We kind of fine? No bird tokens required. 2 Murmuring Mystics is certainly a way to turn the game around in a hurry. If left unchecked. They've got 1 Infiltrator that we don't care about. Chrysali we do tend to care about. I'm going to have to make a lot of birds. And so we're playing Murmuring Mystic. We can play Lauren Revealed, make 2 birds, while they're making us respect. If it's a Red Blast, we're okay. If it's a Cast Down, we're less okay. But we draw the Prohibit. Drawing the Prohibit is quite nice. Mortuary Mire. I think we put back the Archaeomancer now. And I don't think we fire off the Laurel because Hydroblast just make 2 guys is good enough. That way we can hold up the Prohibit. Because again, we can make 2 guys, block these 2, and then block one of these. Wellspring's kind of fine. We can prohibit this. That puts back into trouble on cast down, but I mean, they've known about the Hydroblast the entire game. It's likely they have a red blast or a red. What's this? It looks like a red something. And then we know their last card is a infiltrator, so we can counter this. And now we're getting back Archaeomancer Ephemerate. Is it done? Wow. Played horribly, just drew like a champ. Wow. Okay. So played turn 4 absolutely, genuinely horribly, and then drew like a champ. You could say play to your outs, but I think that's very generous. That's so stupid. We'll take it. 3-0. Okay. Right, so we are back for round 4. Can we continue to get lucky? This is Mulligan. That's good analysis. And this is keep. Let's hope it's hand where Godfrey's Faithful is really good. Against a deck, sorry, that Godfrey Faithful is really good against. And I think I'll probably put back the Archaeomancer. We don't have a target for it yet. The least important card in our hand. I like having up to 4 lands. Let's see what they're doing. Ponder. So Snow Island could be blue-red, could be High Tide, could be Terra. Terra's not a great matchup. High Tide's pretty terrible. I know we've got these Red Blasts now. I have actually wanted to try the Red Blast strategy. I've just lost to Mono Blue X too much. I bought these Red Blasts, I'm going to use them. That doesn't change our plan though. It's still unclear what's going on. It could be Blue-Red Terror, like Blue-Red Squared. So they shuffled on the first one, they didn't shuffle. Oh, hello. So now I'm thinking your tribe. Tribe seems like it should be okay. We've got Strand. Yeah, send a message. It is tribe. So we're not actually very well set up because we don't have any blue lands. Fetch for an island. We could just play the landscape and then just, okay, yeah, let's just play the landscape. Be really defensive. Yeah, okay, the untapped land was a great draw. Or at least it's a draw that enabled us to take this line. We kind of want, yeah, I was going to say, we kind of want to see them just go for it, go all in. They have like an untapped land inside out, that is the... So we can double fetch, but then if we play the Chancery, we are actually tapping out of Strands again. I kind of just want to put Strands in the graveyard. No, I think we can do better. If we have to just pass without a land drop, I think against that we play the Chancery and just pick up. Should have been a Plains, should have been the Plains, and then see what they... But there is the potential they just kill us here, and we... Looks like we might... The only extra thing we've got going for us is we're going to try and snap our guy. 13. So we're dead to another circular logic, which would make sense. The advantage of snapping our guy would be if they've got like a benevolent, what's it, not benevolent blessing, something like that. But I think this is a circular logic. So we would have been safe if we'd have held up the strands, or if we'd have just... We got a bit greedy. That's a shame. We could have done better there, guys. So I want... Do I want a Mystic? I don't think I want a Mystic. Do I want some Thraben Charms? Probably. don't think I want to destroy evil. I think I want some red blast. Let's look up a tribe list. So it looks like we want to be on the lookout for the black Hill was one of the examples of when they had left up to the blue. Looks like some blue blast, some red blast. Could well be a flaring pain. Some strands of their own, some murmuring mystics. I think we want the red blasts. So to make that work, we need to board in the mountain so that our landscape's turned on, and some number of, you guessed it, red blast. With white out, they can do as much damage as they need to, so I'm going to cut a load of Wildfire's Faithfuls. And what else do we want to cut? So we've got 5 cards to bring in, one of which is land. We could cut an island to make room for it, or a plains. Cut one of the cut the Thraben Charm out of the deck. Kind of want the other Murmuring Mystic as well. The matchup could definitely turn into Murmuring. Thraben Charm is a good piece of interaction. I might cut a Strands because I think it's kind of an obvious thing that our deck would play, and they might well have Flaring Pain. Maybe cut 2 Strands. I feel like we shouldn't have lost game 1. Bite us. Yeah, we really didn't need to. We just got we were tried to be disciplined the turn before and then just got greedy. I think game 1 we just say we will do our thing, you beat us. I guess if we're talking about discarding the like playing the what's it called? So discard. No, we're not discarding hand size because we're on the draw on the play again. If we're on about playing out the strands to get it in the graveyard, that's still just one piece of interaction. So the real juice is having it in. Have to counter it twice. I think we're going to play the landscape and just fetch another plane. I know we can fetch the mountain. So if I'm fetching the mountain, I'd rather have waited because we do want to get our red source online. Gives them something to think about, doesn't it? Not very good at killing white creatures. We can get blue creatures. I think they're just going to have a whole bunch of Murmuring Mystics and counter spells, realistically. So I kind of want to play the Sunscape, evoke the Muldrifter, then Mortuary Mire, put it back on top. Like, they don't have that many ways to make this unblockable, so I've pieced it all together. They'd have to have an untapped land, the protection spell, and the inside out. I don't think. Yeah, if they've got it, they've got it. So protection spell, but not an. We just undone it again, didn't we? I forgot that the escape's always an untapped land, and it means they don't have to play the wedding invitation. Okay. This is pretty embarrassing. Less said about this match, the better. At least it was quick. So we were right about the flaring pain, but at least here they didn't have protection for our snap. But yeah, we shouldn't tap tower. We just played an island, but might have been fine. Depends what the last card was. If the last card was good, then they'd. Right, it's back for round 5 after some pretty terrible punts in 2 games in a row. We wouldn't make it 3, would we? Keep this, put back probably the Mystic. The Mystic is a plan all in of itself, but I don't think we're too like. And then let's preordain. And I think I'm gonna bottom top. Kind of tempted to keep the planes because that's a likely thing we want to discard. Against turn 2 Lana or Elves, they hold up Prohibit. If they have a Timberwatch Elf, it sucks pretty bad. Apart from that, we expect to be able to prohibit most of their plays. Yeah, that's one that we prohibit. Drop the Modern Age now. I don't think we're going to be able to get the Thraben Charm to work. Discard the Modern Age. Man, I wish I'd have kept that goddamn Modern Age. Playing out the Archaeomancer gives us a guy for the Thraben Charm, and I'll just take the Preordain back. It could be take the Prohibit, but I think that we're going to be tapping out a lot. We've only got 4 lands, so that's fine. So let's preordain. I guess this is a Matix Wheel Island cycle. It's a shame because the strand is really good, but then we've got the Mole Drifter, so I don't think we need. So we'll just get ourselves a floodplain. And then we've got removal spell for their next thing. So I feel pretty good about this game. Okay, about this match. Matchup into Elves is much better because we've got all these stupid prismatic strands. That's not a good winding way. Forest, winding way, no. I can't believe we played so badly the game before that. That's upsetting. We could double preordain or we could hold up the Thraben Charm. I think Chance 2 is kind of what I was hoping to find. And we're not under any pressure. I'm expecting they're going to have a pretty explosive draw this turn. I think it's just too slow. Like we're killing this, and they're kind of none of their creatures matter again. Like we're probably attacking. Attacking this deck's a good sign. Let's just kill this now and see if they scoop. No. Making us play on. Ghostly Flicker against a deck with a few removals. Let's preordain again. Moment Mystic's also pretty nice. Strands is also pretty nice. Let's go play an island. Play Moment Mystic. Send in. Can't believe we lost the round. So opponents set up to do their thing, but I think it might be too slow. As long as we keep 3 lands untapped. Let's flicker these 2. And that does it. I agree. So I want more waste creatures. I was on more Thraben Charms than this, and not the Destroy Evil, but I think the Destroy Evil's too weak. It hits Hydra, which obviously the Charms does well. It would hit like the Initiative guy, but I just don't think that's. So let's bring in these 3. Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. Some Godfarer's Faithfuls, and some more Godfarer's Faithfuls. Like gaining just a bunch of life on the ground doesn't really matter against their deck. I don't think much. Like when they're killing you, they can 1,000,000 basically. If in 2 turns, if not 1. It's not like a deck where a bit of incremental life gain matters. We have to be stopping them from doing what they want to do. And really the main way we're doing that is strands anyway. I think I'm happy with that. I can't believe we lost it. I can't believe we just like spewed it twice into the stupid thingy deck. Can we keep this? They've kept us. I think this is just too slow. We don't have a lot of hands that necessarily always interact to turn quicker. Like Prohibit on turn 3 could just be too slow. Thraben Charm doesn't kill anything. I think we mulligan. I think there's better hands out there. This isn't one of them. That's close. We don't have that many white sources to draw, but if we drew a white source, this hand would be better. This hand is the worst so far. Okay, we're now keeping the similar hand to the first one, but because the snap just doesn't. But the second snap, I feel justified in not keeping the first hand now because prohibit onto. If we're holding up prohibit this turn, does it stop them? It seems like they're just going to have enough mana to do 2 things. We would let that resolve. We would counter this. We'd let them just have all the mana in the world. That prohibit's looking pretty good. This is a winding way, not a lead the stampede. Oh, there was a Thraben Charm as well in there. Okay, yeah, we won't counter that. So maybe that means it was a good choice. Maybe this hand's just going to get there. I mean, actually. Snap the Timberwatch. Play the Murmuring Mystic. Cross our fingers. We don't want to see this slowly tick down. Alright. Tough crowd. And any changes? I think we just run it back. Just try not to mulligan to 4. It helps a lot being on the play, like being able to prohibit their turn 2. Priest Titania versus not being able to do that. It's not great. I'm just gonna trust in the heart of the cards. This is why I like playing familiars, but I don't like playing familiars because I just get to this point I almost just and I'm like, I'm just gonna click. I'm gonna click keep. I'm gonna keep some sketches and trust that we get bailed out. Okay, so far we've not been bailed out. There are still bailouts available. Like Timberwatch Elf is obviously really strong, but so far, like, this isn't the kind of explosion that's killing us, in the next 2 turns, let's say. Just wait till you see Chump Block. Okay, man, Ansari back the island. Maybe that's a mistake, because we just need more blue pips. We're only ever playing 1 Archaeum Answer in a turn anyway. We're taking 6 this turn. 7, sorry. Oh, they forgot to activate. So, do we want to evoke the Muldrifter or cast the Muldrifter? I think we evoke it. I think tapping 3 mana is a lot of mana, which is weird because we don't have anything else going on, but we can always play an Archaeum Answer. Is that mad? The dream is that we hit a Thraben Charm, can kill a guy, and then Archaeum Answer, pick up the Thraben Charm. Or like a prismatic strands is better if we evoke and just let them. And then obviously the snaps ephemerate to the world. We're kind of fine. So let's snap our drifter. Play Godfarer's Faithful. Play Archaeomancer, pick up snap. Snap the Timberwatch Elf. I think we're living with the. We should just snap the priest. Play the Muldrifter. We've got enough white mana now, we might as well. I probably should have just snapped the. I probably didn't have enough blue pips. Snap the priest as well. Okay. Just full bailout. Okay, just get lucky. Trust in the heart of the cards. Did we draw the Muldrift or did we draw the snap? I think we drew the Muldrift into snap. Okay, that's pretty savage. Why? What? What the hell? Who are you? Why would you play that? So we can Archaeomancer, get back Thraben Charm. Then we've got snap to pick up Thraben. We'll hold up the counter spell for now. So I think we got lucky to win. I think we got lucky in a bunch of our games, to be honest. This one more so than most. Okay, we can't prohibit this one. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm terrified of it, but I think I'm probably gonna just snap my Muldrifter. I know we can snap our Archaeomancer still, can't we? And just boring, but I would just like to draw some more cards. Do we do this or do we just snap the Muldrifter? Muldrifter's only 2 cards, but we're under no pressure with us having the strands. And like this guy will kill us eventually. I think I'm going to snap the Muldrifter. Also wild because we could just snap Archaeomancer, pick up a strands, for example. And we don't actually need to retap that land, do we? Just play it like this. Draw 2, see if there's any good ones in here. There's another snap. If we did it last, I think we do it again. Gain 2 life for pop. Let's preordain. Don't have any hits in the graveyard. And ephemerate is very likely enough. Especially with the, prohibit backup. I think we'll just go to their turn. Let's start with the strands and just try and kill their 5/4. Then I'm going to go for the ephemerate now. We've got prohibit up. They can't. Right, so as I think I probably said at the beginning, I've had more 4/1s with this deck without a 5 blade. 4/1 seems about right for this league. I think it would have been very cheap to have got a 5-0. I don't think we played very well. We didn't like pair up very well into opponents' decks. Played awfully in the match that we lost. We just didn't respect the opponent's deck, and we had lines available to at least not great. We didn't really get to try out the red splash in the sideboard. We brought them in against the tribe deck, but then just got run over anyway. Still like the strands, would have been good against the Elves deck. Would have been good main deck against the tribe deck, but we just didn't play to it. So yeah, this is my take on Fams, which is just really shore up what should be the good matchups, make them, and then I've still not really had many reps with where I've actually managed to have the red sideboard option against the blue deck, but it seems like a potential fix. Cool. That's my Fams.